Hi everyone and welcome back to my summer knits series. In the last video I already talked about everything I know about summer yarns, what yarns I used, things to know about them, what projects work for what yarns and stuff like that. I also showed you some of my summer garments that I made in the last couple of years. And today we're going to be talking about summer knits inspiration, things that I want to knit myself, things I feel like are very great designs. I don't know if we're gonna have time to knit everything, probably not, but those are the things I want to share with you. And obviously I'm gonna talk about summer knitting plans. So if it's something you're interested in, let's jump right in. Okay, let's start with the first one. I forgot to mention that we're gonna have both knits and crochets today, and the first one is actually a crochet item. Okay, let's start with the first one. I actually forgot to mention we're gonna have both knits and crochets, mostly knits because I'm a knitter, but I do like some nice crochet items for the summer. So there will be a few crochet items, and the first one is actually crochet. So it's called Limonata, designer is Amadeo, and it's basically made out of these tiny motifs. I mean, they're not too tiny because she's using 325mm hook, D hook, so it's not the smallest one. And then you put these motifs together, and depending how big is your hook, how thick is your yarn, how many motifs you put together, you can decide the size of the item. It's very simple construction. I will show you later on. It's available in 7 sizes, and so it's like somewhat size inclusive, but as I said, you can just put more motifs. The construction is not very difficult. I feel like depending on the color of the item, it can be actually a really cool piece. I actually really like it in this particular yellow color, and when you look at projects at Ravelry, you will see that the yellow ones, they're really striking. But again, it's a preference. But I feel like it can be a cool like layering piece because obviously it's a see-through. You can also do lots of modification. You can make it really wide. You can do it with a shorter sleeve, longer sleeves. Yeah, yellow, I mean, it just looks very good. And if you don't like things that are too bright, I think if you make it in like some like nude color, it can be like cool too. Somebody even made the one for the dog. Okay, so as I mentioned, construction is very simple. As you can see, it's just few squares, and then you just attach the sleeves. And the way how it's made, it's not like a granny squares when you have to knit lots of those granny squares and then you have to put them together, which is usually an issue for people. In this case, you add those motifs to the garment. So if you look at this picture, you can see that they have markers. So I assume that's where you start the next motif, the next circle, on the already made garment. I don't know. I don't think I explained it correctly, but if you're looking at pictures, you understand what I mean. In terms of modifications, I think it's actually really cool if you like bright garments or you have lots of leftover yarn that is like similar in, thickness. This is something cool that you can do. I don't know. Myself, I think I'm not a big fan of extremely colorful items like this. But at the same time, with a particular color choice, it can be fun. It's actually interesting if you do it from the, there are those like yarns, like a sock yarns or like other yarns that change color, like a gradient yarn. That can be cool too if you like. I don't think I'm a gradient girly, but again, if you like it, can be cool. Also here, I don't know if it's a finished garment or not, but she didn't do the sleeve, so basically it became like just a layering piece. That can be fun too. Yeah, as you can see, you can add few colors, not just like a leftover yarn, but just add few colors. It can be really cool. Few things, in my opinion, this type of construction, yeah, here you can see the construction, so it doesn't have much shaping. You're not going to have shoulder shaping. You're not going to have much of you do have a neck shaping, but basically it's not too much. So if I was doing this item, wait, okay, I guess, I don't know, it seems like maybe this person is actually connecting it after, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, so if I was doing this item, I would definitely make it with lots of positive ease, because I saw some projects on Ravelry where people make it more like tight fitting, because that's probably what they wear. In my opinion, it doesn't look as good. It looks much better like here when it's like a very like a flowy garment. And in terms of yarns, I would probably use like viscose yarn that gives you more drape instead of like, for example, cotton is going to be less drapey. Yeah, so you see construction is very simple. And if you, another thing, if you make it too tight, since it's like a very square without a shoulder sleeve, you're gonna have too much fabric here and it's gonna be bunching up like that. So this is not the item for tight fitting stories. Yeah, this one is a little bit more tight fitting, and you can see that there is a little bit of bunching up, but not too much. But if she made it even tighter, she would have bunching up in the armpit area. Yeah, so you can see here she didn't do the sleeves, but if you look in the armpit area, if she added a sleeve in there, that would be super uncomfortable. Yeah, I really like the options when they made a tee out of it. I think it's a good one. And it's easy project. One thing I like about it, that you can use any yarn. Basically, you will just see how you go and then decide, you know, how many circles you need for your size. And also what I like is like very simple crochet. Even if it's your first crochet project, I feel like anyone can do it. And second, what I like about it, that you add circles as you go. Okay, let's go to the next one. So the next one is the knitted item. It's called Amadeo Blouse 2.0. Maybe it's a new version of it. And it was made by Johanna Gehrisch. I hope I didn't butcher it. So it's a simple tee, but it has this diagonal like lacing, and I think it's very simple, but at the same time there's something to it. The fit seems really good. Okay, let me go through the pattern. It exists in various sizes up to 4X, so I think it is quite size inclusive. And exists also in and you can get this pattern either in English or German. She's using fingering weight, so obviously it's probably going to be a very... it's interesting. She actually uses a bigger needle size. She uses 5mm and 3mm, which is US 8, US 2.5. So it's actually not too bad. So it is worked flat and it is knitted bottom up. So if you're not a flat knitting, you might not like it, but I think this item worth the hassle. Yeah, I really like it, and as I said, it seems like it has a very good fit, no matter what your like body size. This is, for example, a skinny fit. This is more like for somebody who has a chest. I think it's very simple but very interesting item. I'm actually thinking to make it, and it is this like simple lacing, so I think it will be perfectly to use it for yarns like cotton, because as I mentioned in my previous video, I hate working with cotton because most of the items I make with it has very uneven stitching if I am doing stockinette, and it's annoying. Also, some of the summer yarns I have in my stash, they're very thick, and if I just do stockinette stitch, it's just going to be too warm. But since this one has this like holes, like a lacing, it will be actually very lightweight and not too hot. So I think it's great if you have like a thick yarn. I don't know why it says it's fingering. She mentions it's a fingering yarn, but I think it's a mistake. I don't think it's at least from what I see, it doesn't look to me like it's a fingering yarn. Anyway, so I think it's a cool project, and you can use any yarn technically. You can even use a mixture with wool, then it's going to be like a softer on you. Also, if it's a wool that has a little bit of, like a hairiness to it, so it's going to close the holes, so it's not going to be as see-through, but it's still not going to be hot, and you can use it as a layering piece as well. And in terms of construction, it's a very simple one. You just knit it flat and then you add the button. So I don't think it's very complicated because the lace is very repetitive. And if you never did any lace project, I think that would be a good project to start with. Okay, next one. It's called Hällevik Blouse and it's published by Wool and Beyond. I actually really like this item. It's something that I would not wear knit myself, but for some reason I saved it because I really like it. I wish I could make it for somebody else. Oh, maybe my taste change one day. Anyway, so it's a wrap blouse, and they're using DK weight, needle size 3.5 millimeters, size US 4. I mean, it's a standard size for, I guess, a summer garment, because I don't think you're gonna be doing anything on a high definition needle unless the yarn suggests that. Exists in 8 sizes, and also it exists in several languages. And the good stuff, it's a free Ravelry download, so it's a free pattern. So if you're looking for something that you don't pay for, definitely check it out. So let's talk a little bit about this pattern. I think it is called the linen stitch or something like this. Don't quote me on that, but I'm not sure. I actually never used this stitch, but I've been saving lots of items with this particular stitch. One thing I would be worried that it makes the item really thick. So if you do it out of like wild silk or linen, that's probably going to be less warm. But if you do it out of cotton, it might be too warm. But again, it's something for the cool summers or summer evenings and stuff like that. Yeah, in terms of construction, it says that it has a raglan sleeve, and also that it's worked flat. I guess they mean work flat because obviously since it's a wrap, you can't just knit in a circle, you work top down, but okay, it makes sense. Sorry, I'm tripping. Anyway, so it's a raglan construction, and you can see here, this is the top. So if you already knitted raglans, it will be easy for you to knit. You use 2 colors, you alternate, and then you work on the linen stitch. And that's how it looks. So this is the raglan, and this is the wrap. I think it's a really cool item, and if you don't want to try this particular stitch, you can just use the pattern to do whatever else. Actually, I have a few words about the fitting and construction, but I will mention it in a bit. Yeah, so basically the success of this item will depend how good you choose the colors, because you want to have in my opinion, you want to have a good contrast. So this one is good, but it's not enough contrast, but it still actually looks cute. Yeah. And again, you can play with different colors, white and black. I mean, this one doesn't have much contrast, but it still kind of looks cool. This one looks cool. I personally like the white and red, not the berry red, but bright red. Interesting. She did something else. So it's similar blouse, but she did some changes to it. Yeah. So let's talk about the construction. So when you work raglan, obviously with every increase, you with every row where you do increase, obviously you increase the width of the item, and you can see in this picture this garment is too wide for her. So I feel like this item works best when it's like somewhat tight fitting, because otherwise you're gonna have this bunching up in the armpits because it's just too wide. If you want to make it wider, and let's say if the pattern tells you, okay, you have to do increases every other row, if you want to make it a little bit wider, then you would probably have to like start with every 2 rows increases, then you will do like every 3 rows, and then you're gonna go back to every 2 rows. So unfortunately you can't just follow the pattern. And you can see here it doesn't have a very great fit. So when you choose a size, and it's weird, it's somewhat tight around her waist area, but it's too loose in the chest area. Yeah, I don't know. This is something I don't understand. Like this one, unfortunately, we don't see the back, but it looks fine. I don't know. I'm just trying to understand, is it the construction problem or it just doesn't fit certain bodies? I don't know. Yeah, it all has this weird bunching up. I don't know. Unfortunately, you don't expect much from the free pattern, because sometimes they're not like tested or not fitted properly. Anyway, In my opinion, it's a great idea, probably worth trying, but I'm not sure about the fit. But it looks very good at the model, as usual. Actually, if you like this particular construction, you know, the wraps, there is another pattern, which is free pattern, that can be a good option too. I mean, both of them are free. So this one, it's called Pineberry by Audrey Borrego. And the cool part about this one, you know, I mentioned that the previous pattern can be a little bit too hot because the linen stitch, basically it's like a double cloth, it might be too thick and too warm. This one utilizes like a holy like stitch pattern, so it's going to be a little bit more breathy. Available in many sizes, available in English and French, and it's a small gauge needle, 2.5 millimeter, 3 millimeter, which is US 1.5, US 2.5. But they use like sport yarn. Let me show you some of the projects. To be honest, I don't even know which one I like more. I think I like both. I mean, technically none of them fits my style. None of them will be something I will be wearing. Okay, what a weird person I am. But as a concept, I like both of them. And I guess this is the construction. So you make these two pieces and then you add this long waist. What do you call it? I don't know. The words are deceiving me today. Anyway, yeah, I think it's a cool item, and since it's free Ravelry download, just go get it. Okay, let's do the next one. Okay, the next one is a Grassland top by Rachel Brockman. They use light fingering sport weight yarn, and they use needle 4.5 millimeter, 4 millimeter, which is 6-7 US, and they're available in a quite range of sizes, knitted bottom up and around, and they split for the front and back piece. What's unique about this particular item, I actually like the fit. I'm actually thinking to make something like this. They use a sock yarn, so speckled yarn. You know me, I'm always shit on speckled yarn. But again, I have a bunch of sock yarns that I don't even plan to use it for socks because I realize I'm not a sock knitter, and I'm always thinking like, what should I do with this yarn? So maybe making like a top out of it can be a good idea. So if you have some sock yarn that you don't know what to do with, or maybe somebody gifted you sock yarn, that can be a cool idea. And technically you can make this item into dress. There is actually a similar pattern that I will talk in a second, but the good thing about this particular item that it's actually free. Yeah, and when I mentioned there is a similar item, so you can either get a free one or you can get this one. This one is a Lola talk by Veronica Lindberg, Kutovakika. I know many people like her stuff. I never needed anything, but I actually used to follow her before she started knitting. I think when she was doing photography, I just liked her style, but I never needed her items. But to be honest, I actually like this particular garment. Obviously, they are different. The other one, they utilize sock yarn, and they just knit stockinette stitch, and basically the design comes from how variegated is the yarn. This particular item has a more complicated pattern stitch, and maybe it even has a better fit, I don't know. Basically, and this one is a paid item, so I assume it's tested and many people tried it. Okay, let's actually look at this one. Yeah, so this one is a stripy one. I actually like this white and red. I don't know, something about me, but recently I'm into red and white stripes. I definitely need to make something, so I'm probably gonna do this one. So in terms of construction, this one is knitted flat. You can see like first you knit the base of it, and then you start adding the ribbing that becomes your like shoulder sleeves, no, shoulder bands. Okay, I forgot the word. Band, how is it called? Shoulder strap. There we go. This is the pattern stitch. Basically it's a broken rib. I mean, technically if you can self-draft, you don't need to buy a pattern. It's not that complicated. I don't know, she just does very simple, decreases to create the front piece, and then you just add the ribbing, and you can add it as wide as you want. And in terms of a broken rib, it's also not very complicated. Basically, like, is it 1 by 1? I can't see. Is it 2 by 2 or 1 by 1? I don't know. Either way, so like, let's say if it's 1 by 1, so one stitch is always knitted and purled on the wrong side, and another stitch you just alternate. I actually like the broken rib. I think I did something on a broken rib, but I don't know if I kept it. It's a simple one, but I think it's a cool addition because I currently struggle with the fact that I want to knit some summer garments, but most of the summer garments, it's really hard for me to fit in my wardrobe. And this is something I think can be fitted easily. And actually, since we're talking about the tees, I don't know why, but I think this is really like my type of item. That's why I want to make those items. So this one is a sole top by Alice Hoyle. 8 sizes, needle size 4.5, 7 millimeters, so it's actually really nice. It's thick. The only thing, if it's that thick, it might be too warm. But again, maybe since it's so open, it's not too warm. Not for the very hot summer, but I don't know. Depends, I guess, on the yarn. Here, the idea is that you hold 2 strands of yarn together, so it becomes like this design, or you can make it just one solid color. Okay, let's look at the options. I mean, you can go crazy and make some intarsia. You can use stripes, so again, it's a good project to utilize your leftover yarns, but weaving those ends, actually maybe it's not too bad. Yeah, actually I like striped version as well. I don't know, I do like this one. I do like both. I like stripy and I like this speckled one. And again, not this speckled, so this is the yarn, the hand-dyed yarn probably, but this one 2 strands held together, so she has a white strand and a red strand, and she puts them together. For some reason I like it better than just using a speckled yarn. Yeah, one thing about this construction I have to say, you have to be very careful when choosing your size. I don't know if the pattern has a good schematic, so basically what you need to do, okay, I don't have a meter, so this front piece, basically this piece, you have to measure it to make sure it fits your chest. So basically what you need to do, you need to take your meter, look at the schematic, and let's say schematic says like, oh, this will be like, I don't know, 20 centimeters, whatever, I don't know, 15 inches, I don't know, whatever. So you have to put it, just put it next to your chest and make sure it fits it, because if it's too narrow, then then your boob's gonna fall out if you have boobs. If it's too wide, what's gonna happen is it's gonna bunch up here. So basically the width of your chest is very important. For example, in this photo, I mean, she has a very like weird angle, so it's hard to see, but I feel like this item is a little bit too wide for her in the chest area. I don't know if you know what I mean. This one, I think it's too tight fitting. So imagine you're in summer, you're sweating, and then you have this the ribbing, it's very thick, it goes right into your armpit and just gonna make you even more hot, in my opinion. Anyway, next one, I think it's like a super creative thing, especially before I showed you some basic items. Let's do something creative. So this is a Look at My Hauls by James Watts, and I feel like I have saved this item. So it was published in 2021. I think I have it in my saved favorites since then, and I'm sure it's a very fast knitting, but I don't even know why I didn't do it. I even did swatches, but I never finished it, and I really want to do it this year. Because I don't know, I feel like the mesh is a really cool idea, and because you can use it as a layering piece. So this one is it's done in a DK weight, but technically you can use any yarn. I even tried it to do in a wool yarn to have it like more like a, I don't know, not a summer piece, but something like in the middle. 5.5, 375 millimeter needles, or US 5, US 9, and obviously very size inclusive, available in English and Danish. Okay, so let's look at the options. As I said, you can use it as a layering piece. Here they actually extended this tee and made it into a dress. The only thing, like if I was extending something like this, I have very wide hips, so you have to consider. I feel like this stuff is very good with people that has more like a straighter body. Otherwise, when it's too tight in the hips, it's not good. Otherwise, or you have to do it. Okay, I'm starting rambling again, or it has to be very oversized. Anyway, yeah, so you can do it like this. It's a very simple, I mean, it looks complicated, but I think I used this type of stitch in some of my projects. As soon as you get into the, groove, it's actually very easy. And the construction is a raglan, so it is made top down. And again, if you want to make it really quick, just take a thick yarn, take a thick needle. Like, technically, you're not limited by what you can do. Yeah, that's how it looks like. As I can see, it doesn't have much shaping in terms of the neck. It can be not super comfortable to wear. But at the same time, if you make the neck quite wide, since it's a net, since it's a mesh, I think it's gonna stretch. A few things, I would probably again do it with a lot of positive ease, because this one looks like it has very tight shoulders and very tight sleeve. I don't think it's gonna look good with a tight sleeve. But again, let's say if you're following the pattern, the cool part, since it's a top down, you can try it on. If you feel like it's too tight here, just continue a few more rows, and that's how you're gonna make your sleeve wider, or just add more stitches in their underarm. Yeah, so for example, look at this one. It's very loose, it has lots of positive ease, and it looks really nice. Compare if it was like tight fitting like this, but again, it's a preference. Oh my god, you can really play with colors. Wait, do they have? Okay, so the left one, the green one, is the pattern, because the right one, I think it's something else. I think it's a different stitch pattern. And also it seems like it fits people with a larger chest. So I guess, I don't know, unless she made some changes, but it's actually really good. Again, if you have a larger chest, just make sure you make a longer armpit. Not armpit, the longer armhole opening. Because if you make it too tight, you're not gonna have enough fabric to go around your bust. I mean, you can play with colors, obviously. This is actually a cool idea. Oh yeah, this looks good. You can make longer sleeves. You can use it as a layering piece. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's actually an interesting idea. You can use some, like let's say if you have some speckled variegated yarn that you don't know what to use for, this could be a cool idea. And then you just make a different color ribbing. Somebody made it into sweater. Yeah, so I think it's a cool summer project. So if you want to make, because I'm thinking always like, okay, I don't want to spend like a month making some summer garment that I'm only gonna wear for like a short period of time. But at least this project is really fast, so you can make it quick and have something summerly done. Okay, let's go with the next one. Okay, now let's do something basic. So we're gonna alternate between more creative and more basic garments. I'm still debating, to be honest, whether I want to do some basic items, or should I just do some like cool crochet and creative summer garments. Next one, it's called Lusk by Rebecca Clow. It's actually a new item. It was published in May 2025, and decay weight, so available in many sizes from 1 to 11. So this is actually a cool item. The reason I saved it, because I looked at the projects. It seems like it has a very good fit, no matter what's your body size, or what your like chest. Are you more flat? You're more busty and stuff like this. So I feel like I actually haven't seen this designer before, but when I looked at her page, she has lots of items. I'm like, why did I miss this one? Yeah, so basically it's a top-down seamless one that has this like a European shoulder. Okay, let's look at the project. Yeah, so it's a very basic tee. You can make it more tight fitting. You can make it with like medium, like relaxed fit. I think it's a cool item. I actually like it very much. This is a stripy one, and as I said, you see, if you make it with positive ease, it looks good. If it make more tight fitting, it seems like it's still like fitting very well. Somebody added some pattern to it. So one thing about this project, actually, it can be very great like a base garment. So let's say if you make it and it fits you well, and then you can repeat it as many times as you want in different yarns. You can add lacing and stuff. Yeah, this one actually doesn't have a very good fit, but I assume this person has a very wide, like almost like athletic shoulders and very narrow waist and hips. Yeah, so I guess for this body type it might not look very good. Unless she didn't choose the right size. I don't know. I mean, there is a little bit of a bunching up in this area. I don't know. Yeah, anyway. If I was looking for a basic pattern, this would be probably my top choice right now. And if we are talking about base garments, let me like base tees, let me show you another one. This is actually the second. So actually, if I would be choosing between the first one and this one, between Lusk and this one, I don't even know which one I would choose. I think both of them have a really nice basic tee design. This one is a Midsommer tee by Caitlin Hunter. Caitlin Hunter is the same designer who did the Halibut sweater that I did this year. I actually really like my Halibut, so this one definitely worth looking at. Oh, now the difference with this tee, she's actually using a very like a bulk yarn. So basically, either you use a bulky yarn or you hold 2 strands of sport yarn. So if you have very thick summer yarn in your stash and you don't know what to use it for, this is actually a project for you. Available in many sizes. Okay, let's see. Drop sleeve, so it's worked bottom up. So this one is a flat construction, the previous one was a top down. So again, if you have a preference, you can choose either one. Okay, let's look at the project. So I actually saved this one. So this is like a very like a silky looking yarn. First I was even thinking that she's using like silk or silk mix, but actually it's a mercerized cotton by, was it BC Garn or something else? But I think it actually looks really cool in this like a glossy looking yarn. Yeah, and actually like since she's using this like a bulky gauge, what you can also do if you have 2 yarns that you don't know what to use for, you can do this type of I don't know, it's called mouline, or I actually don't know the term for it, when they put 2 strands of I was even thinking like 3 strands of thin yarn to create this like contrasting colors. I actually like it. And this is the shoulder. I don't know, what is this? Anyway, I think this Midsommer tee is also a good pattern if you're looking for something basic. Actually, I have another really awesome basic tee. It's called a Freestyle shirt by Suzanne Mueller. Suzanne Mueller actually has several interesting designs. I came across her name just recently, but she has lots of good stuff. The pattern, unfortunately, is not super size inclusive. It's only available in 5 or 6 sizes, but it is available in English, German, and Korean. She's using a sport weight, and I think it's a raglan construction. It's a raglan construction. So again, all these tees are very different. One was flat knitted, another one was using the European shoulder construction. This one is a raglan. One thing about raglan, I feel like it looks very good on people who have square shoulders. So if you have very like wide or square shoulders, try a raglan, because it's usually gonna look good on you. This is actually a raglan short, but for example, I have very narrow shoulders, and you see, so if you look at the girl in the photo, maybe I should show you a better photo. Let me show you a better photo. Yeah, for example, this girl, you see, she has very like square shoulders, and raglan looks good on me. And on people with a more sloped shoulders, there is too much fabric that's just bunching up here, and there is not enough. So basically, this is the raglan line, and it's already going in the armpit. But if you have very like square or wide shoulders, you just have more space for the raglan line. Basically, if I had my shoulders were like this, so I don't know, I don't know how to explain it. I think I suck at explaining things in English, but just try it. If you have a very wide shoulders or round shoulders, this is something that may look good on you. Anyway, let's continue. So this is a top-down construction. As I said, it's a raglan. She does a little bit of neckline shaping, but not too much. So if you have very slouchy figure, like body, might not look good on you. This is actually interesting. This is the same construction, but it's made out of, I would assume it's a silk or maybe some type of tencel or lyocell. So it's very like super drapey fabric, and it looks completely different. So if you like this flowy drapey things, that could be a good idea. You can use some design, like for example here they just added like a pearl line every couple of rows. Yeah, this is how it looks, the construction. What I like about this item, it has very interesting raglan line. I guess it's just they just do one pearl stitch, which actually looks very good on cotton. I don't know, this is such an even stitch. How people can have such an even stitch? And it has really nice neckline. So this is with the stripes. This is a basic construction. I think it's a good basic tee, in my opinion. And it's very cheap, it's only €5. Okay, next one. Let's go back to some crochet garments. Remember the first one I showed you was this circle motifs, the Limonata. If you feel like circles are just too romantic for you or too much, this is another piece. This is using this triangles, like a diamond shape, and I think this is a little bit, I don't know, less screaming creative. I don't know, what am I saying? Anyway, so this is a little bit, so it's crochet, but a little bit more calmer design. I don't know how to say it. It's called Pastek by Maddalena Bestaco. I don't know. So this is a fingering weight, and she's using a hook size 2.5 millimeters, and she has several sizes. Okay, let's look at the construction. So basically it's knitted flat. Always there is the crochet, and let me show you. Yeah, so this is the pattern. Again, it has a very intricate pattern. I'm actually thinking to make this one because I really like this triangular. Like in general, I realized like every time I knit something that I like how it looks and then I don't wear it, these are the items that has very like a romantic style, you know, more like, I don't know. While me personally, I prefer more like a casual style, more like sports style, or if we talk about pattern, I actually, instead of flowers, I prefer something more like geometric shapes. So I think this will be probably a better fit for me. And technically somebody posted this photo, so if you know how to read if you know how to read schemes, you can just look at this photo. Anyway, so this is how it looks like. So first you make those flat pieces and then you add the ribbing. So, and I guess you can make frills out of those, you know, like a sleeve caps or sleeve whatever, or you can just make it more simple, like a simple sleeve cap. Yeah, I really like this project. And something I actually want to say that, yeah, so this design as well as Limonata is actually posted in Pom Pom magazine, the issue 45, summer 2023. And technically you can buy this digital issue. I think it's like £15 or something like this. And you're going to have several designs in there. And this particular issue, the issue 45, actually has lots of cool designs. It also has some knits. And I mean, you can check on Ravelry what this issue includes, but I would say if you're planning to do some summer items, look at this particular magazine and maybe just buy it, because you're gonna pay £15 and get like, I don't know, 5-10 patterns at the same time. Actually, I have it saved. I forgot that I saved it for you. So yeah, it's £15, and these are a few of the designs that are included in this magazine. I feel like this t-shirt is really cool, this bag is cool, this dress is cool, yeah, so it's worth looking at. Actually, talking about this Pom Pom magazine, this is another pattern from that magazine. It's called Pom. It's a very simple pattern, but at the same time it looks really cool. and I think it's a poem by Heidi Kastner. So again, if you buy that magazine, you're gonna get several awesome items in one. I'm actually considering getting that issue. Next one. This is a basic tee. It has a little bit like a romantic style in my opinion, because it has this like nice lace, but it's actually a very interesting construction. You have a lace on top and you don't have lace in the chest area, which can be sometimes an issue with the lacy tops, because if it's see-through you have to figure out what to put underneath. I mean, some people probably would not put anything, but you know, most of us were like, oh, I don't want it to be see-through. So this one, it's kind of like lacy on top, but not lacy where it's not supposed to be. I mean, it's not supposed to sound like I am a prude. I'm saying like it's kind of conveniently not lacy where you don't want it to be lacy. And the crazy part, this particular pattern, which is called Provence Top by Ekaterina Vorobyova, I think I bought this pattern. It says like published in July 2020. Probably somewhere then I actually bought this pattern, but for some reason I never made it. Yeah, unfortunately it's not super size inclusive, so check the sizing before purchasing it. But I want to show you something. So as I said, I have this pattern either bought or just saved. I don't know, I think I did buy it as part of a pack, you know, when they were when few designers got together and they sold their you know, you pay once but you get like designs from several you get patterns from several designs. So I think I do have it, so I need to check. Anyway, but I was thinking like, it's a little too lacy for me. I want something more basic. And I was thinking this until I found this project. And I really fall in love in this project. So this girl, she did, you know, white lace on top and then the stripes in the bottom. And you know me, I like stripes. And I really want to do something like this. I don't think I have yarn for this, but I might get yarn and make it. Let's look at the other projects. I mean, this is more like a one color options. You can use different yarn. For example, this one is a more thicker yarn, so it's going to be more kind of like a solid garment, less drapey. Or you can use very, I don't know, you can use silk, you can use linen. It's going to be more drapey garment. Like this one definitely looks more drapey. Or like this one. Actually, it's a modification. As you can see, they decided just to continue lace all over. So again, that's a cool part. If you like this garment, you can make two options. You can make one that is like this, and then you make the next one that's like this, and then the next one like that. So I think it's a very versatile pattern in my opinion. You can make long sleeves, so technically you can use wool, make a long sleeves, and it's going to be less summery item. So this is the pattern. I don't think this pattern is very difficult, but obviously one thing about this project, you will have to probably look into the pattern and constantly like keep an eye on the chart so you don't make a mistake, but it's not a very complicated pattern. Yeah, I definitely want to do something like this. I really like it. The next one is a Tuileries, I hope I'm saying correctly, Tuileries Polo by Soumine Kim. Actually, I like this designer very much. I mean, I like her designs. I haven't needed anything yet, but I saved lots of her stuff. It's a polo. This one is, I don't know, I think it's a viscose yarn if I am not mistaken. And I think this is the type of polo that would look really good from the viscose yarn. So you kind of want this drapiness and like... Anyway, so it has only 6 sizes, so not super size inclusive. She has different languages, English, French, Japanese, and Korean. And it is knitted top down. Yeah, so this is how it looks. It has this like a very simple, almost like also geometrical, like a lacy pattern. I like it very much. This one actually may be linen too. It's actually very good. I actually do have a linen like that. This is the lace, and you can actually see here somebody did swatches from 2 different yarns. Unfortunately, I can't see what is it. So you see, like depending what yarn you choose, you're gonna have different look. Anyway, this is the construction. Basically, it's just 2 squares with a little bit of shoulder shaping. She doesn't do any armhole shaping, but I guess I would say if you make it loose, so like for example like loose fitting like here, you don't really need any shoulder shaping, but if you decided to make tight fitting, you have to do, you know, then I would probably do like a little bit of shoulder shaping. So you can also play with colors. I like it very much. And again, if you never did polo before, it's a good idea to get a pattern so you don't need to figure out how to make, you know, so you have instructions how to make these items. You can make it into the shirt and make long sleeves. Technically, it's a versatile garment again, because you can make it for summer, and then in winter you can make it like long sleeve using some wool. Yeah, I might actually do something like this. And this is the construction, so it's a European shoulder. Yeah, definitely looks very good when it's like loose fitting. You know me, I always vouch for loose fitting items. Yeah, actually really awesome. This is probably top 5, top 10 of the summer garments I would do. Okay, next one. Next one is a vest Claire by Mochi Knits, and I think I do need a vest. The only problem with this type of garments, like if you make it too loose, so it's, you know, not too hot to wear in summer, I feel like every time I'm gonna bend down, I'm gonna be worried that I'm too exposed, because I actually have a similar style tee, like a top, and I always feel weirded out to wear it because I feel like you can't bend down. And me, I'm always doing something where I think I can expose myself. Anyway, so this one, she's using light fingering weight and available in 7 sizes, like semi size inclusive, not very super size inclusive. Anyway, and also available in Spanish and English. There are 2 variations. You can use buttons, or you can use those, I don't know how they're called, but it's like super trendy right now when you use those little like ribbons. I don't know, how do you call them? Anyway, this is how it looks like. Has very simple construction. I feel like it has a very good fit. You can make it tight and cropped. You can make it more overweight. You can make it a little bit oversized and then use it as a layering piece. I'm thinking to make it and then wear it with a t-shirt as a layering piece. I don't know. Anyway, I have so many plans. I don't know if I have enough summer. At least I'm lucky, because in California, our summer, here in North Cal, it's usually like September, October, so I have plenty of time. I'm cheating a little bit. Okay, next one. So this one is the next one. It's called Viva Cami by Ksenia Naidyon, and I really like the design, and also I like it that the way how it's shaped. I feel like you still have a risk to be exposed if you bend down, but maybe it's a little bit more tight fitting and you will be not super exposed. Anyway, maybe it's just me. She's using fingering weight yarn. It's 2mm, 275mm needle, which is US 0, US 2, so you have to be ready for a very thin yarn. But it has a very nice pattern and very interesting construction, available in English. And it's knitted in around. Yeah, I guess you just basically knit a tube. Easy. I mean, easier said than done. Okay, let's look at the construction. Yeah, so I guess, basically you start from the top and then you just knit it around and then you add the straps. Very cool item, I think, especially if you have leftover yarns, because usually, like, I have lots of, I don't know why I have so many summer leftover yarns, so this could be a cool project. It looks intricate, but not super difficult to knit, and it can be a good project. And you can make it short if you have like a few leftover yarns. Basically, you can make it as a top, as a crop top, or you can make it a little bit longer. Love it. Okay, next one. Okay, if everything that you saw so far seemed too boring to you, let's look at this one. This is a very intricate lacing, and if you want to do some like a summer lace, or you actually have a yarn that doesn't look good in other, patterns, especially in stockinette, this is a perfect project for you. It's called Woollahra Tee by Marjana Kalachek. Available in 6 sizes in English and Polish, and she's using a fingering weight yarn. a little bit expensive, 16 Australian. How much is it? 16 Australian? Is it like 10 bucks? Maybe not expensive because it's Australian. I don't know. Anyway, maybe I'm wrong. So let me show you the pattern. So this is the lace. It looks very intricate. It's definitely a project where you'll have to be looking constantly at the, the chart, but it can be something very interesting to work in, because sometimes, like, I actually do like to do work in a stockinette stitch, because the reason I need it keeps my mind calm, and I don't like to be constantly looking at the chart because I usually make mistakes and I get frustrated. But once in a while I actually do like to have a project that's like a little bit more interesting. So this is how it looks like. You can make it more loose fitting, more tight fitting. It seems like it looks both in both options. It looks very good. You can make it as a sleeveless top. You can make these little frills to have this more like a romantic vibe to it. Whatever fits your style. I like the design, but I personally don't like those like little frills and caps. So if I was doing it, I would probably keep the pattern and make it into like a very oversized sleeveless tee. Okay, let's do another crochet item. This is a floral top, tank top. Floral top by Elodie Courtat. It's using this filet stitching that's super trendy right now. But she's using decay weight, so interesting. It has sizes, whatever, like 7 probably sizes, like somewhat medium size inclusive. Wait, only 5 sizes, yeah, not very size inclusive. And this is the design. Okay, let's look at the project. So basically it's knitted flat. I think it has a very simple construction. So basically it's just 2 rectangles and a little bit of neck shaping. Definitely don't make it tight fitting, because since it has no shoulder shaping, no armhole shaping, it's not going to look good. It's only going to look if it's oversized. Obviously you can play with colors. Yeah, you can play with colors. I like actually this option. If you make it big enough, you can use it as a layering piece with something else. I actually like it a lot, because this way you can have it not just for the summer but for other months as well. Anyway, in my opinion, it looks best in this initial, like, this like a white oatmeal color with the yellow dots. So I plan to make it, but I need to find the yarn for it, and I'm gonna probably, thankfully it doesn't require too much yarn. It's only like 400-600 meters or 500-700 yards. Yeah, I might actually make it next. I'm into my crochet era right now. I was actually thinking this weekend to go see a new yarn shop opening in my town. So I might go there, and maybe, because I like to support new business, I might actually buy something there. And maybe I just buy a yarn for this project. Good idea. Anyway, next one is a Drawstring camisole by Pearl Soho. And it's a free pattern. Again, go grab it. As far as I understand, the Pearl Soho is going out of business because it's just hard for them to, I guess, to survive in this economy. But the pattern is free. It might go away. Go get it. And they're using a mix of silk and cotton, and definitely you want like a drapey yarn for this. Viscose, silk, would maybe linen would work great. Again, I don't think it's my type of the garment, but I really like this construction, because I was thinking just follow the pattern, but instead of having a drawstring, just have like a neck like this. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, let's look at the projects. Yeah, so you see somebody did something more fancy, just adding a nice, how do you call those things? A ribbon, I guess. This one is probably utilizing silk, just based on how it looks like. Yeah, you can make it short, you can make it more like a long version. Again, I think it's a great project. Like if I was going somewhere where it's very hot, let's say like vacation, or because it's not hot where I live, I would definitely make something like this, because it's like it's not gonna be too hot. Yeah, I like this version. I like when it's like the minimum amount of bunching. You can add lace. That's actually a cool idea, that you can make it a little bit more fancy, more romantic. Anyway, I think it's a cool project, and it's a free pattern. If you are like me hoarding patterns, no, I'm not suggesting, I'm not condoning hoarding patterns. That's not a good idea. Not mentally healthy. Anyway, next one. So next one is a crocheted button-up shirt by Chiara Bono. You know me, if you are following this channel for a while, I'm into crocheted shirts, and I'm actually working on one, finally. It took me several months to find a proper pattern. I finally did find it. It's not that one, but I will mention it in my, talk about it in my knitting podcast. I think that will probably the next video that I will make will be my knitting podcast, so you will finally see, and I hope maybe I will even finish it by then. But anyway, this is a cool one too. So if I ever decide to repeat a crocheted t-shirt, I might, not t-shirt, shirt, I might do this one. So unfortunately, made to measure, sample size SM. Okay, so it's a free pattern. So again, we don't expect much from free pattern, but it seems it's not very size inclusive. But I guess you can probably figure out how to upsize it to your size. I assume so. Available in English and German. And so basically it's made in the grainy hexagon motifs. Okay, let's look at the projects. Okay, so it actually has a very interesting construction. Let me show you the construction first. So basically you do several like a grainy square motifs, then you put them together and then you stitch it together. I think it's gonna be an interesting project because you have to use your brain how to figure out your sizing, and it's not that difficult. You just add, if it's too small, like for example this person just took a shirt and just comparing, and if they need to make it bigger they just can add like few more rows. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I like this. Wait, is it the same? Yeah, I like this black and gray. I think that white, again, can be a good project for a scrap yarns. Yeah, I don't think it's probably the best fitting garment, but again, if you just make it loose. This is interesting. Somebody decided to go crazy and made, how do you call it, sweatshirt, hoodie? I don't know what it is. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, free pattern, why not? Pattern hoarders unite. Okay, I have few more. This one, did I show this one? Okay, that's another project by Ksenia. I already showed you one tee. This is another t-shirt. It's called Cinetop. And the cool part, it looks very basic, but it has very interesting construction. So if you're like bored of top-down, flat knitted items, just doing the same, you want to try something interesting. So you see how the stripes go like this. So that means that the item is knitted across. And let me show you. Anyway, it's available in many sizes, and she's using fingering weight. I think it will look good in some like viscose yarn. Anyway, let's look at the projects. Okay, so let's look at the construction. So it's going to be a little bit harder for you to understand. So right now, basically when you knit it, wait, how does it? Yeah, it's very interesting knitting. So it's like hard to understand. So right now this part looks like, you would think like it's an armhole opening, but in reality it's actually a neckline opening. So when you knit it, you're gonna flip it upside down, not upside, like sideways, and it will become a stripy shirt. So let me show you one more time. So this will be the neck, and the and the armholes will be here. Okay, I don't know, I'm not explaining correctly, but yeah, you can see. So it was knitted like this. Yeah, so it's gonna be something cool. Again, you can utilize different yarns. You can actually, like here, for example, she's just using different colors, but you can use like gradient yarn. You can even use yarns of different thickness. Obviously, you may need to figure things out, but I actually like the construction. Yeah, this is actually a really nice color combination. I always envy people who can create like nice color combinations. Yeah, so this is the stripy ones. really awesome. Next one is a Boden Shirt by Gehrisch or something like this, and I'm actually thinking to make it because I really like this holly pattern. It's like holly but very like, it's like a good basic item that will, I feel like it will be easy to mix and match with my other items. Basically it's DK weight, available in many sizes, so it's very size inclusive. And let me show you the projects. So first of all, these are the patterns. So here the person is using different yarns and just comparing how it's gonna look like. Yeah, you definitely want to do swatches for this project because, as I mentioned in my other videos, like some yarns, when you do like a holly pattern, like a lacy pattern, they just don't look very good. It's just not very cohesive, so you definitely want to do swatches. But it can be t-shirt, can be a great layering piece. It can be tight fitted, it can be more loose. I feel like I just like this particular pattern. I think it's, and again, you can make it with slightly thicker yarn, but since it's holly, I hope it's going to be breathy. In terms of construction, it is made top down, so basically it's a European shoulder. I think you start with the back and then you just add, the front piece. And you know what? I finally actually finished. I can't believe it. Did I show you everything? Yeah, I don't know how long this video, probably 1 hour long, but I hope you got enough inspiration. I tried to choose the pattern that, actually all of them I would probably need for myself. If, like, let's say it's the end of the world, I'm stuck in a bunker and I only have this pattern and nothing else in my life. Okay, then sounds this sounds too too apocalyptic. I don't know, like for example, there are no other patterns to knit. I would okay, it sounds like, okay, this is the last thing I would knit on earth now. I don't give you a good example. I don't know, it's just a good pattern. Let's say if somebody told me like, can you just knit only this pattern and you're not going to be allowed to knit anything else, I would be like, yeah, gladly. Those are awesome patterns. Anyway, I hope you liked it. I was planning to talk about my knitting plans as well, but as you can see, I showed you so much and this video is so long. I don't think anyone interested in my knitting plans, but if you are interested in my summer knitting plans, so what I'm actually making out of all these patterns, I will talk about this in my next knitting podcasts. I guess that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it and see you in my next video. Bye bye!